There we go. That's
Ooh,
the government listening in.
I
The
like
government is
it.
listening. Hey, so you mentioned a minute ago that it was kind of your goal this year to go to all the big four pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So where was Rumble? I don't remember, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, so basically during the pandemic, it was one. We all love wrestling. We all love certain eras. We all fall off at some point. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Did you guys ever fall off? Because I fell off
a
for a
little
while.
bit.
And then we were talking about 2015 WrestleMania 31 in your guys' backyard. That was really the
Yeah.
mania that kind of brought me back to started watching. Didn't really feel like going again, and I can get into why I didn't want to go for a while. That's like a whole thing. We can touch on that a little bit later, but yeah, I didn't want to start going to live things again. But I was like, okay, I'll watch it once in a while. Usually on YouTube. Didn't want to pay for anything. I think I did like a free month trial. I remember it was that year's Hell in a Cell. It was Undertaker, Brock Lesnar at Hell in a Cell in October, and it was like the final encounter. They bill everything as the final encounter. It's never the final encounter. They always make you come back to it.
Oh yeah.
So
Once
fucking
in a
hilarious.
lifetime happened twice.
Yeah. The other thing that was happening at that time was I would just when I was bored or in between, like I was working from home, so in between I would just put on YouTube and watch like an old pay-per-view or something. The other thing that I was getting really into was Jim Cornette. I find Jim Cornette fucking hilarious. If you don't know who he is, he's like manager back in the day for some of your listeners. Manager back in the day, he was on creative for a while. He's quote unquote responsible for the Montreal screw job. So just kind of like watching all his sort of shoot interviews and all, and hearing his stuff. He's very funny too. I still think he's funnier than a lot of comedians too, just off the cuff.
Yeah.
So kind of
he's pretty funny. One of my favorite Jim Cornette quotes. He said,
yeah.
Hulk Hogan is a household name, but so is garbage.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Yeah. Not a fan of Hogan. He's not a fan of Ultimate Warrior. Like
he's not a fan of a lot of people.
Yeah. And even some of the like, it's weird because he's like, if you get over, it's cool. But then he hates New Day for some reason. He thinks they're like kid stuff. But I'm like, New Day is over, Jim Cornette. What do you want? And, like the kids like it.
Yeah, they see the New Day has like they're just not over, but they have longevity, man. They've been
longevity.
So years.
Yeah. They've never really turned heel. They're all kind of together. It's mega. Everybody loved their pushes. Each one of them kind of had I mean, Xavier never got the belt, but he won the King of the Ring. Although I wish they did more with that. Kofi Mania was great.
What was about 2015 that pushed your buttons?
It was just pushing. It was like there was wrestling events that were getting covered in mainstream news. Like when the Undertaker streak broke, that was on CNN. Fucking we're watching Middle East stuff, and they literally did a breaking news thing to show the Undertaker streak getting broken. And my first thought was, whoa, the Undertaker still wrestling, like he's still around, like because I remember Attitude Era. I never was watching in '91 when he was like the Western Undertaker with the big old hat. I missed kind of the Paul Bearer era. Well, I know Paul Bearer was with them when he was like the cult leader or whatever. Because
when he was just the dead man. Yeah,
when he was the dead, like when he was sacrificing, doing like some weird wedding with Stephanie on like a fucking crucifix or whatever. That was
the Ministry of Darkness.
Ministry of Darkness. That fucking weird cult leader shit or whatever.
It was like 98, I think.
98, 99, the satanic shit. Like it was wild. Yeah, like when Kane just debuted. When Kane wasn't a Republican mayor in Tennessee. When we didn't even know who Glenn Jacob, we didn't even know who he was. No one had seen his face or anything. They would do like they would do like kayfabe, like when he would drive, he'd wear like a ski mask so they couldn't see who he was. It was fucking wild.
And we didn't even know at that point that he was like, the other characters like Isaac Yankem and the fake
Diesel. We didn't know he was Isaac or fake, or what was it? He was fake
Diesel.
Fake Diesel. He was the other guy the other guy who played fake Razor Ramon, he didn't really have much of a career, but Fake Diesel.
He did in Puerto Rico, but yeah.
He did. Oh hell yeah! I'm glad he had
that big of a name.
Was he working with Savio Vega in Puerto Rico?
Probably.
Isn't he in the hospital right now? I
think he died. I think he passed away.
Oh no. Savio Vega.
Oh, Savio Vega. I don't have any updates on Savio Vega.
Yeah, I heard he was. Obviously, he's been doing like Puerto Rico like territory stuff, and
he's still going though. I saw him on some recent MLW things.
Yeah,
so Savio Vega's still going. He's
still going. I was surprised because they did a thing, and I know we're getting off 10,000 tangents, but they did a table for five. It was table for five, but with the Bone Street Crew, which was the Undertaker.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, we watched that. That was super fun.
I watched it, but I was like,
there.
Godfather was there. They even got Midian to come back, which is fucking wild. but there was no Savio Vega. And I was like, man, where's Savio Vega?
I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. And obviously they had the respects to Yoko or whatever. That's cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hypothetical Comedy, the podcast.
Yeah.
I am Funky Sam Medina.
And I'm Athena Rodriguez.
And we are here with comedian Prateek Srivastava. How you doing, Prateek?
Hello, everybody. How we doing? Glad we can make this work. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Me too. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for being here, man.
Happy to be here.
So back onto the 2022, the big four. Like, so how's that been going for you? What was the Rumble like, and you know, what was
Yeah, so basically during the pandemic, I was just like, you know, watching like Thunderdome virtual wrestling or whatever, and I was just like,
Thunderdome was actually really neat. Like, it was a good concept for what they needed at the time.
What they needed at the time, because those empty arena matches were awful.
Those are terrible. Yeah,
I was just like, okay, when this gets up, I gotta go to see some stuff live, because like just like with stand-up, you know, and there are a lot of parallels to wrestling and stand-up, but just like with stand-up, you know, it's always, yes, you can watch it on Netflix and whatever, but you got to go see it live. So just like with wrestling, like there's an electricity,
there's a vibe in the room. Yeah,
there's a vibe in the room when you go live. And so well, there were a couple friends of mine. One is this guy who he's a comedian, but he also reports on wrestling. Kevin Kellum, he reports for Sports Kita wrestling.
Oh, nice.
So he goes to the events, and then, you know, we'll be hanging out during the day, and he'll have to go, you know, interview, do media day or whatever for WWE. Like WWE like lets him come out as a media person for that. So
that's incredible,
cool.
Because he gets like backstage passes and special like press box and things like that.
Oh yeah, he gets the press box. He gets to go like on the Thursdays before the big pay-per-view and like talk to the superstars. Like he's done interviews with everybody. It's really cool.
So that's incredible.
So he was going, and my other friend who's also a comedian, Chris Damon, we all were just like, yeah, we're just like, fuck it, let's just go down. So Royal Rumble was in St. Louis this year.
That's right. Yep.
In January. So we actually picked. And what we do is we pick up like a show or two before the pay-per-view, like the day or two before the pay-per-view, see the town, and then go to the payper-view. And the reason I want to start Rumble is I really do think there's something exciting about Royal Rumble because you don't know who's gonna show up during the matches.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
There's a surprise element too, and so that year was really. And then the rest of the card was very interesting. You had Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns fighting, which I know they fought before, but this one was interesting because, you know, who's the heel, who's the face in this? Because, you know, Seth is still playing a heel, but he did that thing where he actually did the crowd entrance with the old Shield.
The Shield entrance.
He was kind of mocking Roman with that. Yeah. So the
mind games.
And they kicked off the pay-per-view with that. So that was a very good way to kick off the pay-per-view. Edge, and then we had the other match, the mixed tag match with Edge and Beth Phoenix and Miz and Maurice, and that was big for me because I never got to see Edge live. You know, never really saw him live. So to hear Metalingus play in a fucking arena was wild. So that you know, that was he deserved that pop. That was good little feel good match. You know what I mean? Because he kind of stopped using Metalingus for a while because then he kind of turned heel later in the year. And I believe now he's back to using Metalingus.
I think he is too. But yeah, he did stop using it because of the Judgment Day situation. Don't even get me started on that.
That's a whole, you know, creative in WWE. We'll be here for 4 hours. just going off.
Let's just throw a bunch of ideas on the floor and pick up random ones.
Yeah.
Let's put Edge in a group. Hey, let's kick Edge out of a group.
Out of the group, right when they're gaining traction too.
Right when they're starting. So was this Rumble your first show back? Like since you just got back into wrestling a few years ago?
Yeah, I did go.
The pandemic.
I did go to before. Yeah, so I went to. I'll tell you all. I went to a SmackDown in 2000. This was when The Rock was still on top and Biker Taker was there. That was where literally they would fight people in the crowd back then. And in those Attitude Era days, like there really was no crowd control back then. Like I remember I was like 12 or 13 or something. My dad got us tickets. We went, both of us went, and there was like a family right in front of us, and like someone threw like a solo cup full of ice down from like the second level down to the first level or whatever, and it hit like the kid in front of us. So the dad, it was this big black dude. He just put on his cane mask and just ran up to the second floor to try to fight people. There was like people fighting in the middle of the fucking. So that kind of what, you know, a little bit like I still liked it, but I was like, I don't know if I want to go.
Yeah.
So that kind of turned me off to going for a little bit. But then, yeah, when I came back in 2015, I went to a payback in Chicago at the Allstate Arena, which if you haven't gotten a chance to go to, which, you know, for wrestling, old OG wrestling fans, it was the Rosemont Horizon back in the day. But the Allstate Arena really is, it's a very good venue for wrestling. Like, it's really sort of built, you know, low ceilings. It's kind of like comedy once again, you know, low ceilings, the sound, you know, doesn't go too far up. And there really is no bad seat at the Allstate. So I did go to a Payback. The main event of that Payback was Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, which again, that's when AJ Styles this was 2016 when he had just, you know, joined. He debuted at a Rumble too. Talk about, you know, again, Royal Rumble.
He did, and that's when the one you're talking about is when AJ Styles was getting Vince McMahon's trust because he was out there with Roman Reigns. Made him look like $1 million.
Made him look like $1 million. That was actually a really good match. That was also the pay-per-view where Enzo got a concussion at the beginning of the match. We also had a good Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match, like one of those old school, like, you know, when Sami Zayn was just coming off El Generico, you know, it was good. It was a good time. But that was just a random, like, just pay-per-view I just went to. It was one of those things where I gotten free tickets through some mailing thing or promotional.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's go to that. And then, I just didn't really, for whatever reason, I just was like, it's too much money or blah, blah, blah. But then after the pandemic, I'm like, no, we gotta start going. Maybe we can just like do a show or something to, you know, do a couple shows, make a little bit of money to kind of pay for the tickets. And Rumble really, again, it's, you don't know what's going to happen in Rumble. And even this year's, like, you know, a lot of the, you know, internet wrestling fans were not a fan of these two Rumbles, but I fucking loved it. I mean, that, you know, especially in the women's Rumble when Mickie James made an appearance with that Impact, with an Impact Wrestling title.
That was history. She came into her Impact theme song with her Impact gimmick and her Impact World title.
That was one of that was a really big pop for the night. Was the Impact, was her appearance.
She made an impact that night.
She definitely made an impact that night. Sasha Banks got a really good response too. It's a shame, you know, let's see if she comes back. But I still remember, you know, seeing her for the first time. That was my first time seeing her live too. She got a really big pop, and she was early on in the Rumble too. She made a big appearance. You know how they try to put one or two superstars to kind of last until the beginning.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I really like that women's Rumble. And then the men's Rumble, you know, everybody's like, oh, Brock Lesnar won or whatever, but I actually snuck down. We were in the third level. I snuck down to the first level with my buddy Kevin to sit in his press seats or whatever. And that was just really, there was one dude with a Confederate flag, like vest. Those wrestling fans show their true colors.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But that one was fun too, because if you remember in the men's Rumble, yes, Brock Lesnar won, whatever. People might have problems with that, but you also had Johnny Knoxville from Jackass show up in that one.
Yeah,
he took a frog splash from Montez Ford. Knoxville got a really good pop. Bad Bunny showed. Yep. He got a huge pop too, because we didn't know. Randy Orton. So that one was in St. Louis. So Randy Orton got a huge pop because he's originally from St. Louis. He wasn't in the match too long, but yeah, Randy was definitely like, everyone was just like, oh, he should win or he should make it to the final two, blah, blah, blah. Also, at one point in the ring at the beginning of that men's Rumble, you had AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, who I met one time in Chicago at the Laugh Factory Christmas party. Shinsuke just showed up. Yeah,
I saw pictures.
He showed up. He is good friends with this is a very funny comedian from Japan, Saku Yanagawa. He's good friends with Shinsuke Nakamura. And I think there was a SmackDown taping in town that week, so he was just there in town one night early, and so he brought him to the Laugh Factory Christmas party. He's a very tall dude.
He looks tall.
Yeah. I saw those pictures on Facebook. Those are really cool.
That was really cool. He was super nice. He was like, send me your album. So I sent him he gave me his email address, and I emailed him my album, and he actually said he liked it. He was like, very funny, very funny.
Yeah. Well, it is a very good album. We listened.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Yeah, no, it's a good. You know, these wrestlers. I mean, the thing with these wrestlers, they're all performers. They understand, you know, the performance element. Also, a lot of wrestlers have started doing stand. I mean, Dolph Ziggler does stand up now.
There's a lot of similarity.
Rob Van Dam.
There is a lot of similarity.
I mean, it really, if you think about it, you know, not to get into the minutia of it, but if you think about it, you know, wrestlers, they're on the road constantly. We're on the road constantly. Yep. Wrestlers aren't getting paid enough for their work. We're not getting paid enough for their work.
Unless you're in the top tier like WWE.
Exactly. Just like in the WWE. You know, it's kind of like LA is kind of like WWE, New York comedy is kind of like New Japan. Like I have these kind of like that.
I like that. Wait, what's AEW then? Like Austin, Texas?
Austin, Texas, maybe, or Canada. You know, I think Canada, AEW is one of those kind of.
I'll say Ring of Honor is Canada.
Ring of Honor is Canada. No, Ring of Honor is fucking. You know, Ring of Honor is just the Midwest, just the road, the rough and tumble. Yeah. And then I think I was free. I had like a free weekend, Mania weekend. So I was like, let's just go. Let's just do it. Like it was, one of the reasons I wanted to go to Mania this year was because you had The Undertaker going into Hall of Fame. I'd never heard The Undertaker's gong, because the only time I saw him, like I said, was in 2000 when he was Biker Taker, when he was with the Kid Rock theme. So I was like, I got it. I mean, I've never seen him live, and I kind of want to see what he says as the Hall of Fame speech. So we went, and then also that was the year that Stone Cold came back for that match with Kevin Owens.
You know what? That's incredible, because he was able to kind of go out on his own
terms. You know, in the main event. Kevin Owens can say that he main evented, and I got to say, like, also, you know what? I like the layout of AT&T Stadium. I thought they did a really good job. You know, I forget where our seats were. We might have been like low 200s or whatever, but it was really good seats, and they put on a good show. You know, that was my first ever Mania live. Never went to a Mania.
Did you go to both nights?
Went to both nights. So we did three. We basically did we got in Thursday, and we did a GCW event, which I don't know if you guys know. Yeah, for some of your listeners, if they don't know GCW, it's a wild time. Nick Gage did not perform at that. He just did like an emceeing thing or whatever. But yeah, to see like light tubes explode live, like it's a wild time. Yeah. I kept my mask on because I was like, I don't know what like poison smell comes.
Yeah, that's why I always like whenever they break them, just like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's like good for anybody. The wildest thing was the second match was really like messy, hardcore match. Everybody was bloody. All the wrists were bloody, and the dude who won. We saw him kind of walk by later, and we like just did a quick fist bump, like, hey man, really good match. And he was like, thank you. And then he walks off to the side, grabs a table, runs to the corner of like the little arena that we were in. And this was like by the way, like this arena had like two sections. It was like a little small arena in the Dallas area. You had the arena with the ring set up for the match. And then on the other side was just like this like wrestling flea market where they had like old, you could literally find like old like Samoa Joe TNA like wrestle buddies, fucking like the t-shirts from like the Attitude Era like pay-per-view t-shirts or whatever, like old programs, like a wrestling flea market, of course. Old chairs from like pay-per-views and all. Like they had like the souvenir chairs that you could get, like just all this random stuff. So that
does sound like fun to walk around and just look at stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a wrestling convention basically. That's what it feels like when you're going to a Mania. Whenever you go to that Mania town. So that was Thursday night, and shout out to Kevin Kellum who got us those GCW tickets. So that was Thursday. Then Friday was SmackDown, and they basically did like a twofer. You get SmackDown and the Hall of Fame in one ticket. So you got that, and then we did Mania, and 2 nights of Mania. So that was a fun weekend, you know.
Wow. Did you do any comedy shows that weekend in Dallas?
Yeah,
we did. I did a one-off. I didn't get to do anything in Dallas. I did this one-off like private event that was able to pay for. It didn't pay for a hotel, but it did cover most of the fundage for the tickets. I did this one like weird private event at like this like Indian restaurant or whatever. I did this in. Because we drove down at that, so that was our thing too. I didn't fly in from LA. I was already in Chicago. I had gone back to Chicago to do some shows, and then we drove down from Chicago. So that was the other thing too. I usually, when I go to these things, I usually go to Chicago, and I find it's either much cheaper to fly from Chicago or I just drive down with them. And so it was a wild time. Yeah, we stopped in. God, it was like somewhere in, I think Plano, Texas, or something, and this like Indian Association was like, hey, we'll do like some Indian event. I'm like, okay, cool. Can you do this? This is what I'm asking for. And I kind of hyped it up because I'm, going to the wrestling thing. So that's really how you do it, comedy fans.
Well, you just found an event and sold yourself.
Yeah. And
wow. Good. Great job. That's incredible.
And I was able to pay for most. And then I also sold my, merch or whatever, and that kind of helps. So that's a way to go see things, because I'm not minting money for these things. I'm just kind of like just finding ways to,
wow,
go
just
see these
trusting
things.
the universe,
you're just betting on yourself, and you're making it happen.
Love
you got to bet on yourself a little bit, and what also helped was, like during the pandemic, I was still working, full time during the pandemic. So that kind of helped. And, I was actually, the ironic thing was at my job, I was picking up extra shifts during the pandemic because other people that worked there were all parents and they couldn't go to, I don't want to get into details of what I did, but I'll just say I used to like monitor I don't want to get into too many specifics. So we'll be here for 5,000 hours if I get into every. We've been on 10,000 tangents already, but I used to monitor like social media accounts for like children and like help out with like suicidal thoughts and cyber bullies and all.
Wow.
So that job, basically, a lot of parents worked at that company, and when the pandemic happened, kids were already home from school a lot. E-learning hadn't really started yet, so they were like, "Hey, can you cover it? You don't have kids?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I you know what? I had all these shows that I just lost because of the pandemic. So I'm like, let me start." And this was right when we hadn't really done a lot with Zoom. Zoom wasn't like, displaced comedy hadn't started yet and all. So it was just like, you'd pick up like a Zoom thing here and there or whatever. It was like literally like doing one thing a week in comedy, which is like, wow, like it felt so weird during that time. So I'm like, let me just pick up extra shifts of work. I'm getting this money, I'm not doing anything else. So that, having that extra buffer has been good. It kind of helped with the move too to LA. So
that's awesome.
All things happen for a reason.
Are you still working, or are you doing comedy full time?
Right now, comedy is the full time experience. Yeah,
hell yeah,
I love it.
So for all your listeners, hey, if you want to support me, we got merch on the website. The album is still available. All that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I sell my album, by the way, with extra. You get like photos and you get like tracks that aren't on the album. So if you're like, well, isn't it on Spotify? I'm like, yeah, but it's different when you buy it on the website. You get more things.
Oh, that's interesting. Awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So let's you know what? Let's finish your 2022 journey here. So SummerSlam.
Yeah.
What was SummerSlam about, and what was it like being in the building when that ring went 20 feet in the air?
That was fucking wild. Yeah. So SummerSlam. So then we were like, okay, we did Royal Rumble Mania. Let's do the big. I mean, technically now, if you ask WWE, they're like, it's not Big Four, it's Big Five. Money in the Bank. Yeah. I was like, yeah, we're not able to do Money in the Bank. So we went to SummerSlam. Oh, and between all that, I also went to AEW, the Wintrust Dynamite. It was a Dynamite February 2nd when Punk faced NJF, and he actually lost. Oh. That was Punk's first loss. I
remember that on TV.
On TV, yeah. And the crowd was wild for that. That was an explosive night because everybody was just fucking cursing out MJF the whole time. He was wearing Yankees like trunks or whatever. So, and there was like a pizza chant at one point, like our pizza is better than yours or whatever. It was a wild time. Thunder Rosa got a big response that night too. I think she was doing like a Dynamite, just like an enhancement match.
Where was it located?
This was in Chicago at Wintrust.
Oh, in Chicago. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
They did it at the Wintrust, which is not near like, so when they do like All Out and all, they do it at the All Out's in Schaumburg, which is like a suburb of Chicago. You know what I mean? So This was actually in the city proper. And the funny thing is after that event, we went into this music club called Reggie's, and Kevin Kellum set up a comedy night. And so a lot of the wrestling fans came straight from AEW to that event. So like I really tailored that set to just fucking wrestling fans, and they had a really good time. I sold a couple posters there too. Love that wrestling fan. We're trying to do that more now. We're not just do a show on the way to the venue. Like, why can't we do one like at like 5 p.m. before the pay-per-view?
Yeah, even the day before, something like that.
Day before
WrestleMania weekend, that'd be really
WrestleMania
good
weekend. I know there's a few comedians. We're trying to set something up for all out that weekend too.
I mean, you could probably even like get in contact with maybe Conrad Thompson and do them with StarCast. Like you're a pretty big name in comedy now, and you got a lot of credits and things like that. So you could probably even get in.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, like shout out to StarCast. That would be cool. I know they were doing actually. That was funny. So getting back to SummerSlam, they did StarCast, if you recall, in Nashville that year, because in addition to SummerSlam, the other big event happening was Ric Flair's quote unquote last match. Was also
Ric Flair's 10th last match.
10th last match.
Did you watch the roast, Prateek?
That was when we actually had shows that night, so we weren't able to see the road. I saw clips and all. I did see.
You didn't miss much.
So I can report that Kevin Kellum, he went to the roast because he was covering it for Sportskeeda.
Okay.
And he got to hang out. I think he was backstage. He hung out with Eric Bischoff and Dan St. Germain, the comedian, because I know Dan St. Germain did stand up.
Yeah, he was on there too.
He was on there too. I thought the really cool thing about that roast, from what I saw, I didn't see all of it, but I did see the part with The Rock telling that cool story about Ric Flair via satellite or whatever. And I think The Rock, everybody's like, oh, Hollywood, but the guy remembers his roots. He remembers.
He does.
He's a big, just like with Stone Cold. If you ever listen to Stone Cold's podcast, like both of these two big megastars are wrestling fans. They're fans of the industry that they're in. Stone Cold will talk about some obscure like New Japan match that he watched, and I'm like, yeah, this is Stone Cold Steve Austin. he still watches wrestling with a passion, and I apply that to comedy. That I hope that, you know, in my senior years of comedy or later years of comedy, I'm still just as passionate about the industry of comedy. So I do think, again, to get back to this theme of parallels of wrestling and comedy and all, I look at their passion, both Austin and Rock, and, you know, if you get to that level, you should still be passionate about the business. That passion shouldn't go away, you know. So I really appreciate what they're doing. But yeah, that was all. This was all in Nashville. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have been to Nashville. Nashville is a wild ass town. Like, that is to go to. Like, they have a street. I think it's Broadway. That's where we were. I literally took a picture of like how packed Broadway was, the street, and I was just like, hey, here's the line for the open mic, because it was so, like, it was just fucking. It was huge. Kid Rock has a bar in the main hub of the city.
Oh, so he probably lives there.
He lives in. He's from. Yeah, he was at SummerSlam too. Yeah,
he was at SummerSlam, and he was at Ric Flair's last match, I think.
Oh, he was at Ric Flair's last match. He was at SummerSlam. They cut to him at SummerSlam, and everybody booed. They were just like, they booed for him. Our illustrious Kane, the Glenn Jacobs, he also showed up.
Yeah, he got booed out of the building.
He got booed out of the building,
but
too.
Something just happened online with Kane where he said some things that a lot of people didn't like. And
he's been saying a lot of things. I mean, he's basically, you know, what's funny?
Fresh.
The wound was very fresh.
Yeah, he did I mean, he's basically, you know, it's funny because I remember when Kane was like just getting into politics, or he'd like be a commentator on the news. He was like, "Oh, I'm libertarian. I don't really have I'm not right or left. I'm just libertarian." But then clearly, somewhere along the way,
but then as soon as he gets elected, he's hard.
He's Republican. Yeah, he probably was like, "Oh, I'll just attach myself to Republican." He's from. I mean, let's be honest. He's from Tennessee. You know,
right.
He's probably gonna run red. You know, the thing I say to people is like, I don't know if I want to get together and, you know, maybe I'll meet them backstage or whatever. But, you know, it's like that old phrase at at a dinner party, don't talk about religion or politics. I probably don't want to talk about religion or politics with most of these wrestlers.
Yeah, especially like AJ
Styles is a flat earther.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I mean, Undertaker
AJ Styles, because you know, if I had that conversation with him, I probably wouldn't be his fan anymore.
I would not be. No, I'm so torn on that because, you know, love Undertaker, but let's be honest here, he's a good old boy from Texas. He's probably pro cop, pro military, like he's pro every, you know. I don't doubt that. It's funny too. During Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech, he's like, "Yeah, I'm Christian, I'm proud." And what's funny about this, AJ Styles like stood up. You did, because you can't see that on the televised thing, but in the audience, they had all the wrestlers seated on like the like right by the Titantron, like right by the lip of the stage, basically. And AJ Styles like just jumped out of the seat. He's like, "Yeah, Christianity, yeah." So that was it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny when he
AJ's a fan of Christianity, not wrestling, but Christianity. Yeah,
not good to hold. Sign. Yeah. He did like a yes chant for Christianity. It was wild.
That's good. You know, whatever.
Yeah, Undertaker dropped it felt like a TED talk. His Hall of Fame speech. Yeah, he had like an earpiece going. He kind of didn't really stay on the podium. He was kind of walking around. It was a good time. I'm really glad I went for that. The Steiners got a good pop at Hall of Fame that year too, because that was when you didn't think they were going to get in, but then Braun Breaker, because he's like new with, like, he's kind of the big deal in NXT, so they're like, "Oh, let's appease Braun Breaker, so let's, you know, get his daddies."
I feel like they did that not just necessarily to appease him, but it gets a lot of mainstream eyes on him, because they're honoring the Steiner brothers. Like, that's going to get your attention. But then, hey, look, their nephew, his son, whatever,
he's still wrestling. Yeah,
he's making big waves.
Getting those casual fans who maybe fell off were like, "I remember the Steiner brothers. Oh, their son is wrestling now. Cool. Yeah." So
it's weird because he's such a hybrid of both of them. It's so weird.
And he's doing, like, it's funny. He's almost like he looks more like Scott.
Yeah, he sounds more like Scott too.
He sounds more like Scott, but then like moveset is interesting. And I also like, you know, it's so funny. People are like, "Why don't you just change his name?" You already it's kind of weird now to do like a change or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, once you have a name, it is weird.
Like kind of like Gunther. Like,
originally they were going to call him Rex, Rex Steiner.
Yeah,
I like that, but his true first name is Bronson.
So Braun Breaker makes, and it's kind of like like, who would have thought The Rock would like stick as a name? You know what I mean? So like,
exactly.
Now I'm so used to Braun Breaker, I wouldn't want to call him Braun Steiner or whatever. You know, that'd be kind of weird now.
It would be, yeah, at this point.
But he's got a good look. But yeah, SummerSlam, that was a wild time. That was my first ever pay-per-view at an outdoor arena. You know,
nice.
So the sun was still out for for Bianca, and I think that the sun set by the time Bianca and Becky's they kicked it off. So that ended. Bianca, I forgot, was from Tennessee, so she got a good little.
Oh, I didn't even know she was from Tennessee.
Yeah, hometown. Like, and it's funny. It's one of those things where you kind of learn. I feel like that's where when you go to these things, you learn more about that stuff because you'll see the fans. And I'm always curious. I like to watch what the kids are because I'm curious. Like, what are kids? Who do they like now in wrestling? You know what I mean? A lot of families were up front where we were, so yeah, that was cool. Bobby Lashley got a huge pop. People sleep on that. Rey Mysterio got him and Dominic. They're a good pop. I feel like they're teasing a Dominic heel turn, but I gotta say, them together as a team, people might find it corny. People might not be a fan of Dominic. They're a good team. People like it. The fans are in. The mainstream kid fans are into that team. Maybe the internet fans don't really care for that. But I've been a Rey Mysterio fan since fucking WCW days. I still remember playing him on PlayStation WCW Thunder, which was a weird fucking game.
It was, yeah.
Like those WCW games were weird because you could play as like a horse. Like you could play as different like alternative hidden characters.
Dude, they had the staff that made the game in the game. That was so disrespectful. Because I would have rather had jobbers, WCW jobbers, than
real jobbers than like Frankenstein or like Frosty the Snowman. Yeah. They would have like these weird like fake things in there. Yeah.
Horse though.
A horse. You could live in that game in Thunder.
I remember how disappointed I was with both that and Nitro.
Yeah. I did like what was it? The N64 games.
Do you know? I don't know if you know this, but the people that made the N64 games, WCW versus NWO and Super Brawl Revenge, and then they moved on to WWF.
Yeah,
they did WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
I think it was THQ, right?
THQ and
Ukes.
Those two companies are teaming up to make the AEW game.
The AEW game, yes.
I'm super excited about that.
That'll be good. Yeah, Fight Forever. I think they just won some like GameCon
convention. I love that title, by the way.
Yeah.
Fight Forever. It's a great champ.
That is great.
Hell yeah.
That was actually funny. That was the champ people were getting for Brock and Roman towards that.
That's been a huge wrestling champ for years. Fight Forever. I feel like it started with Owens and Zayn, or I guess Owens and Generico.
Owens and Generico.
Ring of Honor, Fight Forever.
I know Jericho and MJF a couple times during their AEW feud. They got that a little bit. Certainly MJF and CM Punk. I mean that was a great feud too.
MJF is scary now.
Are you going to Survivor Series? Because it's sold out, I think.
We spoiler we just got our tickets.
Actually. Oh, congratulations! Yay. Hell yeah! So you're making
there's
completion.
a few. We can hit the.
Where is Survivor Series going to be?
That's going to be in Boston this year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think we're going to try to go in. We might fly in on Black Friday and then try to do a show Friday night and then go to and then it's on a Saturday. All the big 4 pay-per-views, by the way, have been on Saturdays
since the pandemic happened. That's weird, right? Yeah. I kind of like it though. I kind of like it because you have a day to digest everything before Raw. Yeah.
I'll the only one is just Mania because they did 2 nights, so they did
Mania's 2 nights. Let's go.
I like and that. They wanted Sunday.
I like that idea. 2 nights.
And then we're gonna try to go
from New Japan.
They sold from New Japan.
They did
because even like AEW doesn't do. I think one of their events was Saturday, but most of them are on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think their minor shows are Saturdays and their major shows are Sundays, something like that. Like All Out will be on a Sunday.
All Out's on a Sunday. I think like the not All what's called Double or Nothing. That was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know about when Revolution was.
Oh yeah,
that might have been a Saturday.
That probably was a Saturday. Yeah,
that was a good card, by the way, for this year's Revolution.
I don't remember it, to tell you the truth.
That was the one.
I watched it.
You had Moxley and Bryan Danielson. That's where Regal made his debut, and they created the.
I remember
Blackpool Comic Con. You had obviously MJF and CM Punk with the dog collar match, which you haven't done those in fucking years. That was wild.
That was pretty crazy.
And Adam Cole and Hangman Page in the main event.
Nice.
For people that think like, Adam Cole's getting wasted in AEW. I mean, he won the Owen Hart tournament. He was in a main event with Adam Page. I think he's injured right now, but he was in that fatal 4-way at the Forbidden Door, which I was supposed to go to.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go to that.
That was a good show. That was a really good show.
That was a good show. I really like that show. I might be going All Out. We're trying. I mean, I am in Chicago. I'm going back for a wedding. I do have some shows too that week too, but I'm going back for a wedding and then I have a few shows. And then Sunday right now is open, so I might try to go to All Out. But I'm curious: is the AEW title going to be on the line? They haven't really decided.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. I really am too, because it's like, is it going to be Punk? Is he going to be ready? You know,
is he going to be ready? Are they
else?
Are they going to do a triple threat with Punk and Moxie?
Or maybe Punk's out for another 6 months. Who knows?
Who knows?
They haven't really updated us about that. Yeah,
it's just weird that we're literally a week away with the title match. The big title,
the main event has not been announced.
Yeah, but the card is looking. I mean, we still also don't know. There's like a ladder match. We don't know who's participating.
They haven't announced one person in the ladder match. Yeah.
So they're literally going to announce everything on Wednesday.
They probably. Oh, by the way, we have 8 minutes of announcements.
Yeah, and it's a 2 hour. It's not a 3 hour show.
We're going to continue our announcements. We're going to commercial, but it's going to stay picture in picture.
Picture in picture. Oh my god! I saw an image today of when Jericho fought Nick Gage, and it's the Domino's sign in the corner, and Jericho getting sliced open.
They got in trouble for that. Apparently,
they did.
Domino's was pissed about that because. Yeah, Nick Gage was slicing Jericho's face with a pizza cutter during a Domino's commercial.
Yeah, and literally it was a Domino's pizza ad where it was like a slicer going through pizza. It was fucking hilarious.
Wow,
I love that shit.
So let's change the subject a little bit. Let's talk about you. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy? Actually, before you answer that question, where was it that kind of sparked your interest in doing stand-up comedy?
So when I was in college, I went to a school in Chicago called DePaul University. And there was a theater on like it was in the Lakeview area of Chicago. It's currently the Laugh Factory, but when I was going to college, it was called the Lakeshore Theater because it was right by the lake, and it was a theater curated by, if you guys know, I don't know if you guys know the comedian Paul Provenza. He's kind of like a, he did that movie Aristocats about the aristocrat joke, which is like the dirtiest joke.
That, yeah.
The dirtiest joke told in comedy. He also curates a lot of JFL lineups. He had that show on Showtime called The Green Room, where he would like just kind of interviewed comedians like in a kind of a green room setting and all. So he's a cool dude. So he curated lineups for that theater. And this is back in 2008, 2009. So you literally had like a young Aziz coming through. You had Greg Giraldo coming through. You had young Louis coming through. You had Mark Maron before the podcast had taken over. Fucking Reggie Watts back when he was skinny Reggie Watts, I like to say, like just like where they were literally giving away tickets. What they would do is they would call colleges, the nearby colleges in Chicago, so like DePaul University, Loyola University, University of Chicago, and they just be like, hey, if you're a college student, you have your student ID, come watch the show for free and just buy a drink or something. You have to buy one, not even like a 2-drink minimum, just free entry, just fucking buy a drink. And so
butts in the seats at that point.
Yeah, butts in the seats. So I would go because it was so close to me, and I figured I'm like, oh, this is fun. So I would go there like a lot, and just watching comedy live was really kind of intriguing. At that point I didn't do plays in high school or anything, but I was into Lonely Island had taken off. So this idea of making funny videos, being funny was interesting to me. And I tried making videos with other people, but like there was always like you had to depend on other people. No one had the camera, no one to edit. So I was like, oh, here's this thing where I can be funny, stand up, and it's just me. I write my things and I do it. And I liked the immediacy of it and I liked the control of it. So I was like, it really was watching it live, wanting to be creative. And also Lakeshore did a really good job pairing the headliners, whether it be like a Doug Stanhope or Greg Giraldo, with a local act. And I would talk to the local acts afterwards, and I'd be like, so how'd you get started? And I'd be like, oh, there's an open mic here, there's an open mic afterwards. So it really did encourage me to kind of start and again watch. So I wasn't just watching these comedians, the headliner comedians, I was watching the local scene live and seeing, hey, Chicago's got some really funny people. Like I would see these feature acts and I'd be like, whoa, they're really funny. They must be on the road. Like, no, they're local. They live here. So I'm like, whoa, this is happening in my own town, like every week. Wow. And they would talk to me some of them afterwards. They would tell me about like independent shows happening in Chicago. They would tell me about, Comedians You Should Know, which is a very long running show in Chicago. It's still around to this day. And I remember going to that show from Lakeshore Theater and being like, this is great. These are all local comics and all of them are funny. And it didn't matter if they were on TV. They're just funny fucking people. And seeing the work. Yes, I'm biased to Chicago because I started there, but I really think just watching all these local comedians come up and seeing the hard work they put in. Hard work is inspiring to me. So that's kind of how I got started.
Yeah. That's good. And then Chicago is definitely a hot spot because isn't like Gramblings or whatever is not out of Chicago?
Groundlings is based in LA. Second City is from Chicago.
Oh, Second City. Okay, that's what I meant.
No, you got it.
So that's a huge stepping stone. Like
huge stepping stone
for a lot of people in the entertainment industry.
And also in 2009, 2008, 2009, you had like, you know, Kumail coming up, Hannibal Buress coming up, Kyle Kinane coming up, all these people coming up from the Chicago scene. You know, Pete Holmes from Chicago, DJ Miller. Wow. Well, I know he's kind of whatever now, but he was a big thing back then, and he started in Chicago. So you had all these heavyweights coming out of Chicago, you know, and there's still like LA expats now, like big LA comedians on the local front, like Dave Hellum and, you know, Laura Bites, who you've seen before. She started in Chicago. Megan Gailey, all these people, they all came from Chicago. So there's still, you know, I'm not trying to, I know I'm in LA now, I shouldn't be like, but there is there's a great community in Chicago, and then they get to come to LA and have good times. So yeah.
But you were born and raised in Chicago, though, right?
I was also born and raised in Chicago.
So I mean, you're gonna always love Chicago no matter where
there's gonna be. Yeah, I find myself like doing, like, I'll wear Chicago local. Like I have this hat from Reed's Local, which is a great bar in Chicago. I actually I'll go back sometimes and host King of the Hill trivia at Reed's, which that's my other favorite thing: wrestling and King of the Hill. Like if there was a thing that if there was a thing that could combine like King of the Hill, THQ and Ukes get on a King of the Hill wrestling game, that'll be
it could be a sequel to the Simpsons wrestling game.
Which people shit on that game. It's a good game.
I mean, it's fun for what it is.
Yeah. For what it is, but it does. Yeah, it's clearly combining Simpsons and wrestling in an interesting way. I have this weird print somewhere. I've got to find it. I think it's at my parents' house in Chicago, but it's literally like Simpsons characters in the style of like old Attitude Era wrestlers, and like Barney's in like Sting's makeup or something. So not just Attitude Era, but like WCW Nitro and Attitude Era. I'll have to find that print. Cool. Maybe I'll show it to you next time on the show.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely. Or send me a picture of it or something on Instant Messenger.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to politic my way back on the show.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, part two. Yeah, well, part two. We're already planning part two out. So, what was it that made you decide you wanted to try it out, and how did you get started?
Yeah, so just talking to those local features at Lakeshore Theater, they were like, "Hey, there's an open mic here," and so then I went to my first open mic, which was like the day, I think like a week after Carlin died, which I don't know why I started then. You can read into. There's no particular reason for that, but it became that thing. But
explains a lot. No,
it explains. I know the spirit. No, I'm not going to get on that. But I went to this place called the Edge Comedy Club. It was like they would just do like little shows in like there was like multiple spaces in this black box theater, and it was called the venue was called the Chicago Center for Performing Arts, which is no longer around now. A mega church has now since taken over the Chicago, and I know this because I went back to try to film for a documentary, like, hey, this is where I started, and they literally came out and said like, oh, can you not film here? I'm like, well, I used to do stuff here. We're just filming outside. Calm down, church.
Calm down, church.
But yeah, like I went up the first, and I remember they were running it, the mic was being run shotgun style, which means you bring up the next person performing. And I also so I didn't understand, they didn't really explain it, so I'm like, you bring up the next person. So I just assumed all open mics were you bring up the next person. They also, and I thought when the light would expire, that would mean like when they said we'll give you the light, I thought they were like, they didn't really explain it was like a light, like a flashlight. I thought they would flicker the lights when your time was done. So they never really explained any of that to me. So it took me like my first 5 mics before somebody's like, when we do this, that means you're done. And I remember because one time I went really long at another mic. I did like 10 minutes at one mic, and I was just like, somebody like started lighting their like lighter at me, and I'm like, is this like a concert or something? What are you doing with that? And then somebody explained to me that's the light. So there are a few people in Chicago like, hey, he runs the light. I'm like, yeah, when I was 1 month in, I didn't know what it was. And these bitter comics still look, I remember that one time Prateek ran the light. I'm like, yeah, they didn't know what the fuck it was. I still run the light sometimes, but that's other reasons. Sometimes I can't
you do it like in the beginning of your career, and then you do it again when you're a superstar.
You do it again, but also it's like if somebody just like waves a phone and it's not very bright, I can't see that. Like you gotta give me a flashlight. You gotta use the flashlight mode. You gotta do something. Like people gotta be clear, right? Not everybody has 20/20 vision. I got very bad vision. I need to change these glasses.
Thank you. I agree. And that's one thing, that's an anxiety that a lot of people have too, is like with the first time in a place, like even professional comedians, because I used to work at a comedy club. And I'll have like professional comedians like, hey, where's the light? How do I know the light?
How do I see it?
Yeah. Oh, the light's right here, blah, 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 whatever.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
so that's what's good about Zoom is you just get a message in Zoom so you can see that. I mean, I kind of.
And then you got guys like Faison Love who the light doesn't even matter to.
Oh, they don't.
On Saturday night, I the light was still on because we just leave the light on for him at that point,
Yeah.
Saturday night the place was empty. We were cleaning up, and Faison Love was chilling with his friends, and the light was still on. I noticed the light was still on, so I go, "Hey, Faison, I left the light on for you for tomorrow night." And then all his friends started laughing.
Because they know he runs light.
Yeah, because they know he runs the light.
The way you said it, I'm like, oh, everybody just leaves and he's still performing. Like that.
Yeah, no. The place like 75% cleared out, and he was just on stage, just being crazy, just singing Jingle Bells for. It was like not even close to Christmas, and it was just a weird, fun, crazy night.
Did like people bring things from the sign like from Friday and all like the?
No, they didn't really. No, they didn't. The second time he was there, he didn't do it so much. The first time he was there, though, it was epic. It was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Faison Love's cool. I know he's adamant about Bill Cosby being innocent, but he's still a cool comedian.
Yeah, he does have some joke about that.
He has some opinions about that stuff from it's like, but from a purely a comedian point of view, okay with them.
Yeah.
Just like with wrestling, I don't need their personal opinions on
right.
Do I really care what fucking Kane's opinions are on women's rights? No. I don't think he's gonna have good opinions.
No, it's true. It's true. So you're doing mics in Chicago and you're just kind of getting your feet wet. You're running the light a little bit and stuff.
Running the light a little bit, getting the feet wet. And then just 12 years later, it really is. Everybody's like, you're getting things and how does it work? I'm like, you got to put your feet to the ground and just keep, like anything, repetition and refinement, when I first started, I read this book. I didn't really take a comedy class or anything. I read this book there's this old comedian named Franklin Ajayi. He has a book called Comic Insights. And the first chapter, he talks about the rest. There's one chapter about comedy, like how to start. And the rest of the chapters are just interviews with other comedians. It's a really cool book.
Wow.
I recommend people.
That's interesting.
Comics Insights by Franklin Ajayi. But in the first chapter, he talks about how he would take like an old school tape recorder on stage and record the audio of the set so he could review later. And so that was just something I started doing from the very beginning. And I still do it to this day.
I do that too. So you can see what worked, how you said things.
I don't really do it with Zoom. It's harder to do with Zoom comedy stuff, but like, with an in-person, I guess you could record the video of the Zoom thing, but that's, I don't know, whatever.
It's like you're recording a video of a video at that point.
Yeah, that I don't. I do have some videos of my Zoom sets, but it's only if I really tried something new and I don't want. Yeah, and there was a way I tried it on the Zoom that I will forget, so I'll keep that. But yeah, like since the beginning, I always have my voice memo app open, and some comedians hate the sound of their voice. I know my voice doesn't sound whatever, but it's also like you gotta do it. You just
I hate my voice. Speaking of your voice, though, I hear your voice every time I watch Monday Night Raw because I feel like that Jimmy Smith guy sounds just like you.
I have heard that before too, so I'm gonna have to tweet at Jimmy Smith and be like, hey, we sound alike.
We sound alike.
Hey Jimmy, there's some jokes here you should tell.
Unfortunately, though, I don't like him. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, with the changeover, I really love that Kevin Owens Drew McIntyre match from a few weeks ago. I really like what Triple H is doing with 3 hours of wrestling, and now it's a little more captivating. So I mean, the Johnny Gargano return last
that was incredible
Monday, and to play with the history, because obviously you have Austin Theory is the Money in the Bank right now, and everybody can shit on. He's playing a heel very well. He's doing
a fantastic job. Yeah. And you're right though, because back a few years ago, he was Johnny's rookie.
So I like this. I'm curious where the story is going to go now with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. I'm curious about that. Also, I got to say, when Austin Theory was at Mania this year, it was the Pat McAfee Austin Theory match, and Stone Cold came out for that stunner. Austin Theory sold a really good stunner. Like the crowd really appreciated Austin's stunner cell. Owens had a good stunner cell. I'm a big Owens fan, by the way. Owens kind of that comedy thing of like, Owens, never really got the big push when he was younger, and now he's here and he's traveled the road, and he's not built like the other wrestlers, and I'm not built like the other comedians, so there's that kind of, I relate to Owens a little bit.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Owens is really funny too. Owens really might be one of the funny, like of the current roster. He's very funny.
I used to when we used to watch PWG back in the day. We don't really watch it much now, but I used to be so happy when KO would be on commentary because he would do commentary often. So funny, he was such good. He was so good and funny on commentary.
Off the cuff too. People like, I'll watch like YouTube videos of him like when he was like Universal Champion, like interacting with the heel fan, like as the fans as the heel, and he would just be like, they'd be like, "You suck," and he'd be like, "Oh, you live with your mother." It's like he's like quick responses. So he's really good off the cuff. Yeah, I didn't like the thing they were doing with Elias, where he was like, "No," like just I
didn't like that either. You're a liar.
It's a corny bit, but it works for Owen. Owens can pull it off because Owens you give him anything and he'll make it work.
I'm a little bit curious to see how they play it out now, because now they brought in Elias's dad, they brought in another brother, they brought in the grandmother.
Well, they need to do, if you remember when Mick Foley one year entered the Rumble as Mankind, Cactus Jack.
That was in San Jose, baby. Hell yeah.
San Jose. I think we need. Oh, that was in San Jose. I didn't know that.
Yeah, 98, I think.
So I think at this year's coming Rumble, which I think is in San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken, I believe. I think
that was the same night that Shawn Michaels took that back bump on the casket.
Oh God, that was the one that like where he couldn't wrestle literally until Mania 14.
The one that put him out for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And again, like Michaels and Undertaker, they've had so many great matches. It's but yeah, like I kind of want to see Elias and Ezekiel and all the family members show up at the Rumble as different people.
That'd be fun.
You can have Owens be like, no, he's already there. Like he freaks out in the middle. I mean, we're building to that. It's gonna be wild.
Hell yeah. So back to the Chicago's comedy scene here. At what point did you feel like you were kind of onto something and you were kind of like just doing well and rising up in the ranks?
Yeah, I think in 2014 I started, just getting more shows. I was running a few shows. I was starting to help with there's an improv theater in the Midwest called Comedy Sports. They have locations kind of all over the Midwest, and there's one in England, and then they might have a few they might have one in New York or the East Coast. I'm not familiar, but I started helping produce shows at the Comedy Sports Improv Theater. But these would be stand-up shows and improv theater, and just realizing that there are different venues, not just a comedy club can be geared for comedy. Like comedy works great in music venues. I just performed with Frankie Marcos this weekend, and we did a music venue. And Frankie's great.
I don't know if you know this. You don't know this actually. Yeah. We were in the room the night Frankie did his first mic ever.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
Yeah. We met his mom. His mom was there. So we go way back with Frankie Marcos.
He's
great.
Well that night.
He did well that night. Like
he did well that night, and we knew.
Yeah, he was decent that night, and now he's just a beast.
No,
I saw him do a 5-minute set one time, like 3 or 4 years ago, just on being an Uber driver, and I was like laughing so hard.
He's very good off the cuff, and he's hustling right now. He's setting up all these shows at these wineries and all, like all on his own. Literally, he brings the equipment and sets it up. We just did these 2 shows these weekends, but we did one in Solvang, which I didn't even know what it was. Apparently, that's the town where fucking Sideways, the movie Sideways, was filmed, and I'm a big fan of Sideways. So, but the venue, to go back to what I'm saying, it's a music venue where apparently Jeff Bridges' band plays at this venue. So that was kind of cool to be on.
That's dope.
There's all these pictures of Jeff Bridges everywhere, but again, low ceiling music venues are great because low ceilings, and that was our thing too. So when you mentioned like how do I kind of figure out when I'm figuring out what I'm doing as a comedian, or how is it kind of clicking, it's when I'm learning about low ceilings. Okay. What works to promote a show, what works for good audio, how do you produce a show properly, kind of going to other local shows and studying them. And then another thing happened in 2014. So I'd say 2014 is when it started clicking. Another thing that happened was there was this thing, I don't know if they do it anymore, but it used to be called Stand Up for Diversity, NBC Stand Up for Diversity. Then it was called Stand Up NBC. It was basically a national talent search that NBC had. And they did one in Chicago. And they did it at this place that's no longer doing comedy. It was called Jokes and Notes on the south side of Chicago. And you lined up, and they literally 100 people lined up. I remember getting there at 5 a.m. to line up, and I was like 99 out of 100. And then you went in and you did 30 seconds of stand-up at like in the afternoon, and then you'd come back later in the day and do 2 minutes of stand-up. And then if they liked you, you would do a showcase the next night for agents and NBC people, and so I advanced to that showcase the next night. I got to work with Tone Bell, if you guys know Tone Bell at all.
Awesome.
I have video footage still of Tone Bell butchering Desic. He could not say my name. It was it's really bad how he said it. Like he just like it.
I can relate to that guy. I butcher people's names. Sometimes I just call people by the wrong name.
Yeah, it was Tone Bell saying my name was like Vince McMahon taking the stunner at this.
Oh,
it was woof, like just. But that really opened my eyes to, hey, I'm doing comedy and clearly it's working in this capacity that I could advance from 99 of 100 people all the way down to 5 people.
That's amazing.
And it wasn't even 100 people because they added people to the second round who didn't have to do the first round. So I would say I was 8 out of 125 people. So that to advance to that, like kind of gave me a little bit of confidence. Like, hey, I kind of have something's working for me.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Wait, so you started comedy when you were in college?
Yeah, I was like 20. I did a few open mics in college. I was like 22 when I started. So around.
What were you going to be if you didn't become a comedian?
So I didn't go to school for. I got an economics degree. I thought about going to law school. I took the LSAT, but then I just was like, look, every lawyer I know is like in massive debt or whatever, and
dang.
You know, or they go into corporate law and just. That's how you paid off. I'm like, do I really want to be defending Enron? Like,
right? Do you really want to be an asshole for the rest of your life?
Yeah, asshole lawyer or whatever.
Become a comedian.
You gotta chase some ambulances, man.
Chase some ambulances. Our thing too. I graduated when the recession happened. So all these good 4-year degree, you get a job right out of college. Those all dried up. So I luckily did an internship at the Chamber of Commerce, so I was able to parlay that into like a just a shitty part-time job. I shouldn't say shitty. They supported me when I needed money, so they helped me out. I didn't know. It was so funny.
It was important at the time.
It was important at the time. No, it was, and they were very nice. Comedy into comedy. I think a couple of them even came to see me do comedy at one point. So no, it was. I appreciate that. I appreciate that job going. But you always have to appreciate, the jobs that you have.
Yeah, the people that kind of help you out when you need the helping.
When you need. I mean, then I started. I mean, even this last job I had, the monitoring job, I got that because I did Second City classes with somebody. So it's like comedy kind of helped me get a few of these jobs. There's Mark Anthony, who you guys know from the Fun Simulation Virtual Mic.
From Zoom.
I work with him in person too, but like he's got me day job. Like anytime his company needed like a temp or day job, he would reach out to comedians. So, comedy.
That's incredible for him.
Comedy started getting me day jobs too. Like I would be filling out need jobs, and then one comedian, hey, we need help with this tech thing or some dumb thing or whatever. And that kind of helped. So it's funny how I was getting jobs through comedy, like just shitty day job or whatever, just easy day jobs. So,
yeah, I guess I'm saying the word shitty day job.
That's I'm saying shitty because there's nothing shitty about getting money to pay bills. I know what you mean,
though. Just like easy, like you said,
easy, monotonous.
So you're in Chicago, you're on the rise, you're doing well in comedy, and then COVID happens.
Yeah, so doing comedy, producing shows. I produced a show that went kind of it went pretty well. It's called Simmer Brown. Then that dissipated in 2017. So that was from 2014. I ran 2 really kind of successful shows that didn't really end up coming through. Like they kind of, we were on hiatus and we just never brought them back.
Yeah.
And those were roughly around the same time, from 2014 to 2017. That's when things started to pick up. And those 2 shows, one of them was called Simmer Brown. It was a show with 2 other South Asian comedians. One of them was Samina Mustafa. And they don't really do comedy anymore, but the shows were picking up steam. Margaret Cho tweeted out at those shows.
Wow.
Like Chris Red from SNL, he was on them a few times. We had Janelle James, who's now on Abbott Elementary. She dropped in a few times. Oh God, who else did that show? That's kind of Will Miles, who's done like stuff now. Dave Hallam did it a lot. Like, yeah, we've had people who've gone on to do cool things do that show.
Coming through and just. That's awesome.
I like that.
It was a good time. And then the other show I ran, which I kind of want to bring back in some sort of capacity, it was called Snack Attack. And we had artwork that was like a Saturday morning cartoon. So I had my clean shaven face as like a Saturday morning cartoon. This guy, Rudy Schultz, did all the artwork. Wow. But the premise of the show was we'd have 4 comedians, and then we'd have a headliner. The headliner would choose their favorite snack, and then we would serve that snack right before they went on.
So that's a good.
We wouldn't serve it before the show. We wouldn't serve it after the show. No, there would be like 2 minutes of chaos right before the headliner would go on, where we'd have to hand out like, and it wouldn't just be chips. We'd hand out like garlic bread. We had mozzarella sticks one time. We had that little Debbie nutty bars or whatever, which I had to go to a store one time and buy like a whole like Costco box of them.
I buy those all the time. I love those.
And I'm like, people either think like I'm buying this for a birthday party or my life is in shambles. And it's like, which one is it?
A little of both.
A little of both. We got Tato's one time. Tato's are Irish potato chips. I had to go to like an Irish Heritage Center to get.
You had to go find them. Track them down.
Oh wow!
If you remember, Conan O'Brien did this remote at this Irish Center when he was in Chicago. I literally just looked up that Irish Center from the YouTube video and went there. And they were like, they have this little plaque thing that from like when Conan was there. So yeah, that's how I found it. I remember just having to find. Oh, one time this one comic, Danny Callis, who he actually is the founder of Comedians You Should Know, which is one of the shows I used to watch before I even did stand up comedy, or when I was still like at the Lakeshore Theater. He wanted for his snack jelly beans, but specifically one flavor, booger flavored jelly beans.
Oh my gosh!
And then like a bowl full of booger.
So it was like a little like a little jar.
Oh my gosh!
So we had to go on Amazon and like rush delivery them or something. Not rush, but we had to get a special order of just that.
Yeah.
And I think he still has it somewhere, like because we, of course, like everybody just wanted. No one like some people would try, some people didn't want to try. Like we would give out one to each one, like a paper towel or whatever. But yeah, like there's a fucking still half-eaten jar of those jelly beans somewhere.
It's probably not half-eaten anymore. You probably
yeah. It was a long pandemic. You probably got bored.
Like, well, never mind. Okay, let's make a really terrible booger joke, but I will not do that.
If you want, hey, you can do what you want.
So, at this point, what's it like for you now? Everything is shut down, and you're on Zoom, and that's where I met you, basically.
Yeah, so 2019, I recorded my album in 2019. We didn't release it, obviously, until 2020, but, you know, like things are starting to pick up. I'm starting to headline in 2019, starting to headline more in 2020. Pandemic happens. You know, unlike a lot of the comedians who just start going to Florida right away and touring again or performing in, like, fucking vacant fields for like cars or whatever. Listen, I'm not going to knock anyone who did that. More power to you. Hats off to everybody who did that. I hope everybody was safe and it's fine. But I was with family and I couldn't do that. So, you know, and also there was something about, I'm going to drive 2 hours to go to a field with like cars. You couldn't even hear the cars. And they would just be like on like a drive-through music talk box thing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a lot of risk, potentially getting COVID when we didn't have a vaccine or anything. I'm risking COVID and I can't even hear the laughs. Maybe I'll just sit in my apartment in sweatpants and do a set on my laptop. You know, it was like weighing the two options. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I still think, you know, we still do Zoom shows today. I have two shows that are I co-run two shows. One is Comedy in English on Sundays on the KO Comedy Hub Network, and the other one is the Chirping Bird Comedy, which we need to get both of you back on.
Such a fun show.
Yeah,
absolutely. You guys do so well with your producing.
Shout out to the original two gentlemen who started that show were Eric Branstein and Drew Beekler. They founded the show. Shout out to Judah Friedlander, who comes on because he's so awesome and wants to just be an interactive performer.
That's awesome.
That was the cool thing for me about Zoom. I know a lot of comedians are like, oh, Zoom. Yeah. I got to meet some really cool people doing Zoom comedy.
Absolutely.
I met Maria Bamford on Zoom. That was really cool too.
That is so freaking cool.
Josh Gondelman, who he's actually, you know, I don't know when this is going up, but you're getting the exclusive. He will be on Chirping Bird tomorrow. Like
wow, this won't be up by then. I can guarantee that.
Well, he used to write for a lot of people don't know. He used to write for Last Week Tonight, John Oliver's show, and he also wrote for Deezus and Mero's show. And he's done like Comedy Central. He has his own hour out that's right now. So he's a really cool dude. Just meeting all these comics through Zoom that, you know, I don't know we would have met if there wasn't Zoom comedy, you know. So that's really cool.
That's the thing too. Like, for example,
connecting with all these people. Yeah.
Like, I may have met you in passing, but will we become friends? You know, who knows?
Yeah. So I hope to see you guys in person now that
Absolutely.
things are open.
Especially you're in LA now, so you're closer to us.
Yeah.
Did you say that you started headlining around the same time you recorded your album?
Yeah, like in early 2019, I started headlining. I mean, actually, I would say I did some headlining gigs in 2017 too, but I would say I was more bona fide to be a headliner. 2018, 2019, really building up that hour, and then I had been asked by my producer, Dave Winnick, who he goes by Saint Dude Productions. Now that's kind of his moniker, but he'd been asking me since 2018, record an album. And I just felt the end of the year, if we're going to do it, let's do it. This is in 20. I remember having a brainstorming session in June of 2019 being like, okay, we can either record it this year or we can wait till my 10th year anniversary in April of 2020. Had I decided to do that, I would not have been able to record anything in 2019. So I was like, no, let's just get it out. Let's just do it. That's a great way to cap off the year. Let's do it in December 2019. My birthday's in December. It's a good time. And so I remember literally saying, okay, December is usually a tougher time for shows because people go to Christmas parties or they go out of town. So I got to do
money on Christmas too.
And they spend a lot of money on Christmas. I'm like, I got to do it early in December. So I was looking at Fridays and Saturdays early in December. And I saw the first Saturday in December was December 7th. December 7th also happens to be my parents' wedding anniversary. So I'm like, this is some sort of like sign or whatever you want to call it. So the album is named after them. It was recorded on their parents' wedding anniversary. We released it like a week after their wedding anniversary in 2020.
Oh, so a year later.
Basically it was a year later. We released it. So it was all these factors coming into play. So yeah, I'm really proud of that album.
Did you name it after your parents because it fell on their anniversary, or was that just like happy coincidence?
It was. I was definitely thinking about names, and that was one of the names I had on my list. And then when I saw the date lining up, I'm like, that's what we're gonna call it.
Wow.
So it was like one of 7 names, and then that was a date, and I'm just like, okay, this is coming together. So.
That is so freaking cool, man.
Nick and Sheila's Kid, right?
Nick and Sheila's Kid, yeah, still available everywhere.
I love it.
You get it on. It's still on Spotify for all you hip kids. It's still on iTunes. Still on Amazon. But if you buy it through my website, you get deleted tracks. You get family photos.
Oh, more tracks too.
You get more tracks. You get the vinyl version, which is just like an audio file with vinyl sounds on it. So you get 2 versions of the album plus deleted tracks. I sound like a pitch man right
now. I mean, it's what you got to do, right?
I sell the artwork. I sell as like 8.5 by 11 poster. It comes on very nice cardboard.
So cool.
I can sign it for you. You can also get it when I'm on the road. I sold some on the Frankie Marco shows as well. So it's a great little thing.
We definitely have to get you to sign one. And
oh yeah,
we
let me know.
Do that.
That'd
absolutely.
be great.
Yeah, next time we're in person, I'll get you guys one.
Hell yeah, that sounds great. So what's it like just to release an album, like release a comedy album?
It was exciting. Again, we finished it. We recorded in 2019. The thing was edited around June-ish, but then it was also just like, the protests were going on. So we're like, let's not release it right now. Let's,
That's a good idea because the world was kind of
so smart.
angry at that time.
I mean, but a lot of people released content. So I was like, part of me was like, let's release it in 2021. But I was like, no, let's just get it out. Let's just get it out in 2020. Let's release it. So I was like, let's release it in December. But everyone was like, oh, if you release it around, holidays, people might not buy. But I'm like, I think people need something to buy around the holidays. And also the irony is the release date was December 22nd. December 21st was when John Mulaney went to rehab. And that's when his album started tracking. So I was not going to be number 1 on Amazon or iTunes because his album, people started buying his stuff. But the people came through and we went to number 1. So yeah.
Oh, you became number 1?
I still went to number 1 on Amazon and iTunes.
I did not know that. Congratulations.
I have the frame thing. It's number 2, John Mulaney, Prateek number 1. I have that image framed at my parents' house.
Congratulations.
That's
thank you.
Really cool.
It was good. I think I remember I might have done either your podcast or I remember you shared it or something. So I appreciate it. It couldn't have been done without everybody who shared it. So thank you for sharing it.
Hell yeah. I did. Yeah, probably. I did definitely wanted to support it. So I'm
something.
Sorry.
So I appreciate you sharing.
We did.
I did something.
I had you on my wrestling podcast too. We talked about it. On
we did. Yeah, you did that too. Yes, that was good.
Absolutely.
And shout out to everybody on the Displaced Network who was super supportive of the album.
Yeah, I mean, it really took a village to keep us all sane.
Yeah.
Yes,
during that time. Hell yeah. So you went to Amsterdam recently.
I did not.
You did not.
And much like I was supposed to go, but much like with wrestling lineups, cards subject to change, you guys. Unfortunately, I was not able to go. I'm tentatively going to London and England and parts of Paris in November. We have not figured that out yet. We're still coordinating everything, but potentially I might be going to UK. And as for Amsterdam, we're trying to work that back in. The shows have been rescheduled. Boom Chicago Theater wants to have me back, so we'll stay tuned, stay updated on my Instagram and all that stuff, and we'll let you know when I go back. So I do plan on still going.
Oh yeah, so that would be super rad, like a European tour.
Yes, that is still in the works. Yeah. We're stay up to date on prateekcomedy.com.
Was that the original plan? Was a tour of the Europe, or
it was going to be
Amsterdam?
It was going to be Amsterdam, Paris, Rome, and a few other, maybe like one other city. And then I really want to go. I do want to go to Ireland too. So we're figuring everything out.
Nice.
But a UK really cool, tour is a Europe tour is on the horizon for sure.
Have you ever performed internationally?
I did one show in Canada, and then very early in my career, I was in India for a wedding, and I did like one thing in India. But I would like to properly, with the experience I have now, go back and perform. I was trying to make Mexico happen, but it's a little, a lot of cartel wars right now in Mexico. It seems like things have heated up, so we might be holding off on that
right now. Yeah. Do you speak your native language?
I can speak Hindi a little bit, yes.
Can you? Would you be able to like put together a set in Hindi?
I could do like maybe not a full entirely Hindi. It could be like Hinglish, like it would be half Hindi, half English.
Do they do that like Spanglish?
They do that. Yes, that's very common. Also, to kind of the through line of wrestling, that's kind of the through line of this podcast. India loves wrestling. It's so huge in India.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
It's wild. It's wild around the world. It's funny. There's this clip of there's this Bollywood movie where they had the guy who played fake Undertaker, Brian Lee. They had him show up as Undertaker in this weird Bollywood movie. So there's literally
I did not know
this
that.
random clip. I'll send it to you. Remind me, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
This random clip of a Bollywood movie where all of a sudden Undertaker's wrestling.
Wow, that's crazy. Speaking of Bollywood, what about acting? Have you done any acting?
I have. I was on a few things. I was on this thing for WGN America called Man of the People, where it's like a sketch show. This comedian Pat Tomasulo, who he's also like the morning anchor for WGN, he would have comedians do sketches. So I played this. We did this one thing where we took one of the Chicago guys who looks like Billy Joel, and this was a week Billy Joel was coming to Chicago. He dressed up as Billy Joel and went around Chicago, and people were like, "It's Billy Joel," and we played the paparazzi guys who filmed him. So everybody thought it was Billy Joel, but it wasn't.
Do you have that is that recorded or something? Is that
it's on YouTube. It aired on TV. It aired on TV, but it's on YouTube too, so I can send you that if you want.
Yeah, I love Billy Joel, so I would love to watch that.
And then I also worked with he was a writer for SNL. His name is T. Sean Shannon, but he wrote this sketch where this is right after Trump's lackey George Papadopoulos went to jail for 2 weeks. So we filmed like a MSNBC jail promo, but for 2 weeks, George Papadopoulos in jail, and it was me pretending to be George Papadopoulos in jail for 2 weeks. So that clip is also available too. So I did those things. I was an extra on Empire back in the day. I was on set when not Terrence Howard, Lee Daniels was directing the pilot of Empire, that show Empire, and I remember him yelling because he didn't like the color of Terrence Howard's socks in one scene. So you have to do that. I was an extra on that, and then I was also in a couple short films. This guy Brad Kaufman, who's a very funny comedian out of Chicago, he's been producing these short films. And working with this other comedian named Stephen Haas, and he's directing them on those really nice cameras. And these films have gotten accepted into Cannes, the Independent Cannes Film Festival. So
that's really awesome.
The one I'm in is called Hambone de Fromage. It's about a culinary restaurateur who makes a sandwich that is out of this world, and I play the heavenly body who helps you deal with that sandwich. So it's a really cool short film. You can't really watch it right now just because it's still touring the circuit or whatever, but we did a film premiere in Chicago. I got to do stand up at the film premiere. It was really cool. So
that is so cool.
Wow, that is really cool. That is incredible.
The acting is definitely, I have my reel and all, so trying to get yourself
out there and do it
out there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. What about going to LA? Did you experience any culture shocks in that transition?
Well, yeah, I just coming from Chicago, bars and restaurants just open later in Chicago than LA. It seems like everything closes relatively. There's diners out here. There's a
What's
few
your
things.
drinking time? What time do they have to stop drinking in Chicago, Illinois?
I mean, average is there's most bars are 2 a.m.
Okay.
average. After the pandemic, maybe and then we have like certain 4 a.m. spots too in Chicago.
Oh wow.
After the pandemic, a lot of the 4 a.m.s have become 2 a.m.s, 2 a.m.s. Some of them have become noon, not noon, excuse me, midnight.
That's really early.
That's bad. That's not. Mm-hmm. But you'll still, if you want to stay out till 4 a.m. in Chicago, there are still places to go to.
That's cool.
It's just not as readily available. Like pre-pandemic, there were 4 a.m. spots just around the corner everywhere. Like it was.
Wow. That's unheard of for us.
Or like their kitchen would be open till 4 too. Now it's like you can find a 4 a.m. spot, but then their kitchen closes earlier.
Or like that's,
so that's thank you, pandemic, for that.
What about LA though? What's LA been like?
I mean, it's fun. I live in Sherman Oaks. Obviously, what's been beneficial to me is I help run a show in Santa Monica out here, so I'm getting regular stage time. It's the virtual show Comedy in English. We have a live show that's every Tuesday and Saturday at the Santa Monica Hostel. So come out, check it out sometime.
We'd love to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun old grand old times. That's Tuesdays and Saturdays. And then I've been blessed. I've done some of the other kind of shows around here. I've not really done Laugh Factor out here yet, but I've done a few things at the Hollywood Improv. I've done Flappers. I've done the Comedy Chateau. Done some of the other venues. There's the Setup Comedy, which is Setup started in San Francisco. Now they have an LA location.
I didn't know there was an LA location now.
There's LA Culver City every Wednesday and Sunday. So
I saw you. You know what? I saw you at Setup, and I thought you were here in town, or in San Francisco, anyway.
Yeah. No, I was supposed to do it this one Wednesday, but then there was a scheduling conflict or whatever. But I've been able to come to San Francisco once or twice. I usually just take the bus and get up from San Francisco.
It's probably easier than making the drive.
I also don't have a car out here yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm just kind of either Ubering or I'll take like the bus. Or you can take the bus if you know kind of where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
We sure know that.
Yeah. So you can kind of navigate that. And then if it's something far, just Uber and just eat those Uber costs. With gas right now and insurance, maybe Uber's cheaper. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Or throw some comic $10 and.
Well, that's the other. Yeah, I kind of get my friends to pick me up and I buy them food or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I make it up that way. So yeah. Take the bus to San Francisco. I did get to do the San Francisco Punchline earlier this year. That was really fun.
Oh, awesome!
I was with Kabir Singh and Samuel Bade. That was a really good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Some of your listeners, they might know Samuel Bade. He's regular in KO Comedy. He started KO Comedy. He's also my roommate. I mean, he's never home, but he does.
What a great roommate!
Yeah,
he's just on the road. He's actually in Edinburgh right now. He's in Europe right now.
Wow.
So
wow. We've known both Sammy and Kabir since we started doing comedy. I started in 2010. So we've known them like 12 years, as long as you've been doing comedy.
Oh wow, and, yeah. They're
both incredible comedians. Like Sammy is like the nicest dude you'd ever meet in your life.
Couldn't be nicer.
Yeah,
could not be nicer.
Amazing.
I met him. We talked about 2014 being a good year. That's the year I met him too. Just he was in Chicago looking for mics and all, and we kind of forged this friendship. Just being like, oh, you're funny and you like mics. And then he started bringing me to colleges. I would open for him.
Oh wow!
I think 2015 actually, when I did my first college with him, I think Lakeland College in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
So he was part of your rise.
He was part of my rise. He definitely gave me a lot of opportunities when I started, and then now we're roommates. He's he's doing big things too.
He is. Yeah,
his work ethic really. I really to talk about work ethic. He has a really good work ethic. I really admire what he's doing.
Hey, it's only going to be a small footnote in his life, but we were running a show a few years ago, and we were included in his 1,000 Days of Comedy.
Oh hell yeah!
We had him on. One of my friends hey, Sammy's in the area. He wants to stop by and do a set. I'm like, bring him in. Bring him in.
He can go up.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, he actually performed on Christmas. And Thanksgiving. I find that amazing. How do you pull that off?
Everywhere. Man.
He did it a couple of times because 1,000 Days of Comedy is I think about 3 years.
Yeah,
3.5 years, something like that. That's crazy.
Years, yeah. So you have to do a couple holidays. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Do you have anything exciting you're working on? Anything coming up? Any projects?
Yeah, I mean we do we do comedy in English Tuesdays and Saturdays. Bye Bye Liver is this sketch show I was a part of in Chicago. We're trying to bring that to Chicago. Yeah, it's a sketch show, just like a bunch of scenes from drinking. It's like set at a bar. So yeah, it's in Chicago. It's every Friday. If you're in Chicago, it's every Friday at the Newport Theater. But we are bringing it to LA, so there's plans to bring it out here. And then we also are taking it on the road too. It's going to be part of some festivals, which stay tuned. You'll find out where those are. Obviously the album is still out. Check that out if you guys want. I do a web series kind of thing on Instagram and TikTok. It's also on YouTube too. It's called Neurotic by Nature. It's me yelling in front of nature. So that's
wow.
Yeah. So
that sounds fun. That sounds super fun.
Check that out. I can give you I also put them all on YouTube. So if you just want to rapid fire run through them on a playlist, that's there. But yeah, it's on my Instagram and TikTok.
That is so fun.
That's a cool thing. Yeah.
And then before we go, if you had one more question for you.
Oh yeah. What was it like performing with Bobcat Goldthwait?
That was that. I appreciate you asking about that. That was really cool. Yeah. Shout out to the Lincoln Lodge, Adam Burke, for connecting me with Bobcat Goldthwait. Bobcat's he's really just a nice guy. He could not be nicer. He told stories. So Bobcat, he's like just an OG of the game. He's doing comedy forever. He was talking about, he used to go on the road with Nirvana. He wouldn't even just do comedy with comedians. He did comedy with Nirvana, the band. And
wow.
The story.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
The story there is I guess Kurt Cobain was a big comedy nerd. Like a lot of musicians and a lot of wrestlers, we talk about wrestlers.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestlers and musicians are comedy nerds. So Kurt Cobain was a big fan of Kids in the Hall. He was a big fan of Bobcat Goldthwait. And I guess the story is he was in college. He had a college radio show, Kurt Cobain. He interviewed Bobcat, who was a touring comedian at the time, for his radio show. And he was like, "Hey, Bobcat, this is our Nirvana. This is a band I'm in. This is our CD." Like just kind of giving him like, "Hey, I'm in a band. Here's my CD." And it was Bleach. That was the CD that he just gave he gave Bobcat that. And Bobcat still has it somewhere. He's like, "Yeah, this is my band project." And lo and behold, they blew up. And then I guess Kurt was such a big fan of Bobcat. He's like, "Hey, do you want to open for us?" Kurt was entertained by Bobcat. But Bobcat would tell you, he's like, those crowds were not ready for a comedian. They wanted to.
No, I bet not. Even a famous comedian.
Yeah, Bobcat.
No, they were very not ready for a comedian.
And it was funny because Bobcat. So Bobcat was doing those shows at the Lincoln Lodge, and I really encourage people, if you're in Chicago, check out the Lincoln Lodge. It's it's a really historic. It started at the Lincoln Restaurant in the Uptown neighborhood, but now it's in Logan Square, so it's in kind of the better foot traffic area. Really diverse crowds. They have shows every night of the week. It's run by some really cool people. Lincoln Lodge is really cool, and they have this agreement, Bobcat, where he was basically running his new hour like every Tuesday of the month. So it's kind of like a residency. And so to be able to open for him, in a room that he's just working on material, literally asking me, "Hey, was this funny? Do you have any tags or whatever?" It's really cool to kind of have that experience with them. So
that is so cool.
Couldn't be a nicer human. And hope to work with them again.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome.
Wow. I bet he has amazing stories. I think a lot of the comedians do.
He had so many stories. He talked about, he set he was on the Tonight Show and he set like a chair on the Tonight Show set on fire. He told that story. He's got stories about other comedians. He's got Robin Williams stories because he used to work with Robin Williams.
I bet,
him in World's Greatest Dad. He directed Jimmy.
Yes.
Not Jimmy Fallon. Excuse me, Jimmy Kimmel. He used to direct episodes of Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to spoil some of those stories because he's still telling them on the road right now. But yeah, he has a lot of cool stories.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I forgot that he was a big director.
Well, I think big
just because I think he's worked on stuff that I thought was like
a big
pretty
deal.
Damn good.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think you're like surprised.
Yeah.
Because when you think of Bobcat, you think of like Police Academy.
Yeah,
Police
that's
Academy.
right. That's right.
To Trot. Like you think of stuff like the old stuff.
The old school stuff from the 80s.
Wow. That is so cool, Prateek, man.
That is really cool.
What a life.
I know. What a life.
Yeah, no, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for my opportunities. Sometimes you gotta take a step back and be grateful. I think a lot of comedians like, "Oh, what's next? What's next?" Everything's next, but it's also be appreciative of what you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Great perspective.
Yeah, Dave. Well, thank you so much for being here and talking to us and telling us your story, man.
No problem, guys.
I can't wait to have you back here. Talk about your European tour. Talk about maybe the next album. Talk about all this fun stuff you have, coming up in the future.
Maybe another pay-per-view too. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Maybe some more wrestling too.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Before we go, you want to plug your social media?
Yeah, it's at Prateek Comedy, and that's Prateek. Yeah, I gotta spell it because Prateek.
Well, at least your last name's not in it. So my
website is Prateek Comedy, first name, and also I pronounce it Prateek, but there's no like th. It's just the T makes a th sound. That's just how
that's just the language,
the culture. That's just the language. Yeah. So Prateek Comedy. That's at Prateek Comedy. That's for my Instagram. That's for Facebook. That's for TikTok. Website is prateekcomedy.com. All that good stuff. Yeah. Support me, support comedians, support you guys, support Hypothetical Comedy. And support everybody. Let's all have a good time.
Hell yeah. And you can find me on social media at Funky Sam Medina across the board. Stop laughing. She hates it when I say across the board. I don't know why.
Oh, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at She Shines For You, all spelled out. No numbers. No numbers. I ain't trying to be creepy.
And then everything else is at Hypothetical Comedy, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you very much, Prateek.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.